Veep, 17 Emmy nominations, another haul for the show this year, including Best Comedy Series and, of course, Best Supporting Act for our guest today, 5-time Emmy nominee,
Hello.
2-time Emmy winner, Mr. Tony Hale.
Nice to see everybody. Thank you for having me. I like your new set.
Thank you.
It reminds me of, it's got a lot of pop of color.
You got pop of color.
A lot of pop of color. It's not blue, but did you ever, I just thought about the show Blue's Clues. Did you remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
Has like a really happy cartoon feel to it.
Yeah. Do you do a good
so
blues?
Well done, Los Angeles Times designers.
Yeah. Blue's Clues, was that a popular show in your house when your daughter was growing up?
No, but I remember when I was in New York, the lead guy of Blue's Clues, people would always think I was him, and because we looked alike. So kids would come up to me like, Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
I had to just disappoint children everywhere.
Are the Emmy nomination, another one? Is this becoming just old hat to you?
No.
You wake up and you go, oh, okay, cool.
What if I did? Someone just needs to go, pop!
Yeah.
No, it never gets, it's always like, what? The fact that I'm even going to the party is super exciting. I never thought that would happen. So I never stop being excited.
Yeah.
It's a huge honor.
It was a good season. Good
a
season for
crazy
Gary.
season.
Crazy season for Veep.
Yeah.
Did you know, like early in the season, Selena promises to go to Gary's 40th birthday party? Did you know the writers were going to hold Selena to that promise?
I had heard tidbits of that, and I knew that I knew it was coming up, but I didn't know the depth of the pain involved in his history.
Well, there had been little clues, I think, from years past about
his father,
Gary's father being something of a demanding sort.
Yeah, that's a kind way of saying it. But when you're there and you kind of see how his father how verbally abusive he was, and then also how codependent he was with his mother, but also like little things, how the mother would whisper something to Selena, which Gary does that. So that kind of stuff, it was fun to see how that was fleshed out. Dark.
Did it kind of dovetail with what you had thought about Gary's past, or had you thought much about Gary's past?
I didn't. That was a surprise that Gary's dad was gay, and I was like, oh, that's a new thing I wasn't expecting. And then the mom who kind of had these traits, and it was just kind of, that whole episode was like really up and down. Like Gary's so excited that he's coming home to see his family, and then about the party, and then Selena hijacks the party from him.
Yeah.
And then he's excited about sharing this story about his dad, hopefully to get back in the good graces of his father. And then Selena snags that story. It's just like, come on.
That's like the worst thing, maybe. There's so many things, bad things she's done, but maybe that's the worst.
Oh, that was the worst. Gary couldn't catch a break. And I actually thought that might have been the one thing that Gary would turn Gary and be like, all right, this is too much abuse. And yet he bounces back like some broken puppy. He's just I'm right back in.
Did you make that argument that maybe this should turn Gary?
No, because I love that comedic.
Yeah.
I don't want that to stop, that kind of that tension. However, I remember us having discussions of when something like that happens, that has to hit him. That's where a lot of that diner scene came in the end, of just like that he can't bounce back that quickly, because when someone has hurt you that deeply, even as dysfunctional as Gary is, it's gotta hit, and he's gotta have at least some moments where it's like, woof, that hurt.
Right.
It
seems like I remember reading an interview with you where you were talking about this episode, and initially as you were playing it, it felt really dark, like a Tennessee Williams play.
Yeah,
and they had to say, Tony, you need to dial this. We're in a comedy here.
Yeah.
You need to dial this back a little bit.
And that's where the brilliance of Dave Mandel came in, because there was one time where I was hitting him, my dad, and it got really intense, and I was loving it. I was like, let's get in there. Let's just like scream and hit and all this kind of stuff. And Dave was like, all right, we gotta find the balance, because it's tricky. You got to find that balance, because it was getting too dark. It was getting too Southern Gothic.
Yeah. When did you find out that Gene Smart and Stephen Root had been cast as your parents?
I think when we were doing rehearsals, and I
Yeah.
was thrilled, because I'm a huge fan of both of them, and I don't know, I don't know, they're just cool people, and they came in for rehearsals and added their own stuff, and that's really fun.
Had you met either of
No.
them before?
No,
Because-
I had met Stephen's wife, but I had never met anybody with Gene or her or anything.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting.
I mean, Veep always gets the casting right, but this, it
Yeah.
just felt like so perfect.
And just so, Stephen, just the way he did it, some of the stuff he said to Gary was so mean. It was so mean and so just right there. But then Gary, just to see the way that he was just trying desperately to get his dad's attention and affection, that was a lot of the sadness. Because on an outside perspective, even Selena was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How can you let your dad talk to you that way? And he just didn't see it, And it's I mean, not to get super dark, but it really is like people going back to an abusive relationship. Everybody else is like, why are you returning to this relationship? And they just don't
Right,
see it,
right. It seemed like after seeing the parents, you understand more about Gary, don't you?
Yeah,
He's like
but he's
this-
also gone into another abusive relationship with Selena.
Yeah.
This is
And-
turning into a drama.
And it was interesting reading some comments on Veep recap, sites this year, because they felt like Selena was meaner than she had ever been. Did you feel that way?
She's been pretty,
Yeah.
been pretty mean throughout the years. But to me, if she was, it made sense because all she is her ego. All she is just craving off that power. And she was at one point one of the most important people in the world as president. And all of her motives were for power and attention. She didn't care about the people. She still to this day doesn't care about the people. And so when that's ripped away from her, she genuinely doesn't know who she is, and she's just desperate for and a lot of it comes out in just anger. And so if there was ever a time for her to be angry and the worst, I think it would have been this past season.
Yeah, yeah. Then we see in the finale, we see how
Yeah.
Gary and Selena met.
Yes.
Could you have ever imagined
Nope.
that?
That was a surprise. As a candy striper getting her ice chips.
Yeah. How'd you like that candy striper uniform?
I didn't mind the uniform. The wig was a lot.
Yeah.
The wig was like full Hall & Oates 85. It was, or maybe a Kenny. What was the guy? Oh, who's the guy? He was a soap opera star, but he also was Rick Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
It was very Rick Springfield.
Yeah. Did you have did the hair and makeup people?
No,
Give you any
I saw it and
input
I
on
was like,
that,
that's
or-
perfect. But
Yeah.
it was like a flashback to my high school days.
Yeah. So they matched your yearbook photo
Yeah,
quite well.
I'm sure they found my yearbook photo. There was a full Southern tail back there. But it was that storyline was a big surprise for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see how they meet.
Yeah.
I love the moment when he whispers the doctor's name
Yeah.
into
yeah.
her ear.
Yeah.
That
was the start of it.
Yeah.
That was the start of it, and she saw something in me. She saw a gift in me.
Yeah. But I guess, from a character standpoint, from her, for her, I mean, it was just like you could see that maybe motherhood was not going to be her thing.
I know when she took the Catherine the baby, and the baby pooped on her, and she's like, oh. I was like, yeah, that's not a good start for a mom.
Yeah, yeah.
And also in that finale, though, the minute she's announcing her presidency, that wasn't a very good day for Gary either, because that she wanted to run for president again, because Gary would have been very happy just her staying in the rehab facility where he's by her side.
Right.
He
right.
didn't want her to go near that because
Right.
that takes her farther away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of my favorite moments from this season was early on when Mike had spent the night at Selena's place.
Yeah.
They were going through the scrapbooks.
Yeah, yeah.
And you come in, oh my God,
Yeah.
Gary is so angry.
I'm so angry because anybody who's close to her, I don't
Yeah.
like that. Because
Yeah.
when she was in rehab, that was the closest that she's been to him. And it's always when she's medicated, because when
Right.
there was another season where she got medicated. She was loopy on St. John's wort,
I remember
and she was so nice to Gary, and just saying how much she loved him and appreciated him, and Gary was just like, oh, this is a dream.
Yeah.
And then this past time when she was a little drugged in the rehab facility or mental health facility, she was just so great to Gary. So he wants her to stay in that state.
So maybe in Gary's bag,
Yeah.
there is some medication.
I think in this next season, maybe he'll slip her a few things.
Yeah, yeah. What happened to the hair? Is that did they let you keep that?
Oh, my wig?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wouldn't that be sad if that was the one thing I took from the show?
You should have the
Was that-
bag at least, right?
Yeah, that one wig.
Yeah, yeah. There was a photo that Jason Bateman
Yeah.
tweeted out last.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was Instagram last week.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Bluth House.
Yeah.
Coming next week. Are you going?
Yeah.
Starting filming next week?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm starting. I think some people are because, yeah, I think I might be. I don't know. The schedules are kind of, they're getting worked out. But even seeing that picture in the living room and just the specific fabrics, oh man, it's nostalgic. Just seeing that. I'm excited about getting back. Yeah.
And we're talking Arrested Development,
Yeah.
of course.
But there's always a little anxiety going back because it's been so long and you get concerned about kind of getting back in that rhythm, you know? However, the thing that always gets me back is Jessica Walter's voice as Lucille Bluth. Because she has this patronizing, like, buster way about her. And it is Pavlovian. I mean, I just, like, knock back.
You're just
I'm
right
like,
there.
I'm in.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm back. So maybe I'll just put her in a room with me and just keep saying my name over and over and over.
And then you'll be ready.
And then I'll be in.
Yeah. So you're going to go back in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
When season 4 ended, the last season ended, which, 5 years now?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that long. 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Lucille was apparently dead.
It's Lucille 2.
Lucille 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
let's
fact that
be
they're
clear.
Both named Lucille, that
Yeah.
makes me laugh. The dysfunction of that.
And Gary was going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know.
And
I mean,
there was blood.
Yeah.
I don't know what to...
I don't know what to expect because he loved his Lucille too.
Yeah,
He loved them both,
yeah.
but he was having a relationship with Lucille too. And that was a sad, I mean, I think that's the whole fun of the surprise is they just kind of showed the stair car. Maybe it was a stair car where there was blood on it, I think, and then Lucille 2's gone. But I have no idea with surprises what Mitch is going to come up with. I have no clue, and that's what makes it so fun.
At first, I thought you were kind of just like toying with me here. Like you can't reveal the
No, I
details.
genuinely have no idea.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. And I mean, even whatever, and I've said this before because I remember the specific example, but I remember going up to Mitch and having an idea, like, oh, I've got a funny idea. And I was like, what if Buster's on Dancing with the Stars? And he was like, yeah, that's funny, but I think I'm going to have a seal bite off his hand. And I was like, that's funnier. That works a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even where my head goes, it's not even close to what comes out of that guy's head. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
I guess the one thing that seems to be the case is that the cast is going to be more together.
Yes.
This season.
Yes, and I'm excited about that because last time it was very, very difficult to get everybody's schedules together, but this time they've really made it work to where we can all be together. And because I missed having scenes with Job and Michael and Tobias, and because that kind of brotherly relationships and all that stuff, I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah. So excited about going back.
What I did have last time that I was the funnest was when Lucille could not smoke inside, and she used Buster to inhale the smoke and put it outside. Now that's a level of dysfunction I don't think I've ever gone in a character, of sucking the smoke out of someone's mouth and then blowing it outside.
Was that a fun?
That's sad.
Was that a difficult scene?
It was fun. I don't think my asthma loved it, but it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. We have some reader questions.
Oh, great.
We'll get to a couple of those. One was, have you ever used a line from one of your comedies in real life? You know, some very quotable shows.
Have I ever used like just that I couldn't think of something to say to somebody, so I just used a line? Maybe when my brother and I are in a fight, I just say, "Hey, brother." I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
A line. I don't know if I have. I'd have to think about that. Good question, though.
Okay.
It'll come back to me.
What's the most useless talent that you have? We know
my
about
God,
all your many talents.
There's too many.
Yeah.
The most useless talent I have is I'm a great nail biter. No, I actually don't ever cut my nails. I bite them.
Yeah. So no
that
manicures for you.
That is the saddest thing that I just said that in an interview. What is the most useless talent I have?
Now I'm looking at your nails. They're very nice. You've
Thank you, Glenn.
you have a talent for.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. If anybody has any idea, do I have any useless talents?
No,
My friend's over there.
Matt Walsh was in
Oh yeah,
a couple of months ago. it
he's.
seems like.
Yeah, I think he's in Paris right now shooting
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
I wonder where Mike's going to end up in season 7. He's
Well,
the one person who's not employed.
It kind of ended where he was teaching, I think.
Yeah, like I think high school or it was an adult education.
Yeah, it's like a community college, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And so and all the writers have been writing this summer, and I don't want to know. I love the element of surprise, so I'm just excited to see what happens. You know.
He had some thoughts for Sean Spicer, communication director, from one communications director to another.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice for Donald Trump's bagman?
Medicate.
Yeah.
What would I give advice? Maybe just I think Gary, because somebody also asked me once, what would Gary do in the administration? And I think I would be a hugger.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of people that are so stone and so detached. Maybe a good hug will knock it out of them.
A little love.
Yeah, just some affection.
Yeah. Everybody can use a hug.
Maybe his bagman, I think, should just grab him
Yeah.
out of the blue and just hold it. Just hold on. And just hug out that anger.
Yeah. Well, that's what Gary would
what
like
needs
to
to
do
happen.
with Selena,
Well, she'll turn around and pop him, but
Right,
he tries.
yeah, I'm not
There was
sure.
one scene last time where he had his hand over, they were in bed together because he was really sick. And he slowly put his hand over her and he thought in his head, this is it. This is the moment I've been dreaming of. But she was just fast asleep. And then once she woke up, she was out of there.
Right.
But there was a hint of maybe it was going to happen.
Just a hint.
I'm still, of course, trying to think of other useless talents. And I know I'm going to leave here today and go like, why didn't you mention the fact that your eyebrow's all twisted? But I can't think of one.
Is there a TV show that you're binge watching right now? Are you a binge watcher?
I will say I'm not much of a binge watcher.
Yeah.
Because I like the anticipation of the next episode coming. And also with dramas, if I binge, I'm just like, oh my God, it's too heavy.
Right.
And some dramas are so heavy, I'm like, I could be this depressed watching CNN. So
You're not going to sit down and
I'm not going to
10 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh my God. Come on.
Yeah. Where would you be at the end of those 10 hours?
Crying and drunk. I cannot do that.
Right.
My wife can. She can detach. I'm just like, no. Like she used to love the show Homeland, and I couldn't watch a lot of it because I was like, guess what, guys? That's going on somewhere. Why are we watching this?
Yeah.
Anyways, back to your question. I think The Handmaid's Tale is very good. I can't binge that kind of stuff. I have to kind of.
You need a week's respite.
I need a week's. What do I binge? Trying to think. What have I? Well, I can't think of anything I've binge watched. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
The
I'm
answer
binge
is
watching
none of the above.
the season 4 of Arrested right now. I'm on season 6, just to kind of get back into the story. So that's what I'm binging right now.
Okay.
And so many things I missed. And
Right,
actually,
yeah.
so many times when people have come up to me and like, oh, remember that time that this happened, I'm always like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But tell me more, because that sounds really funny.
Please.
But now I'm getting that, like, it's so intricate what he says. So that's what I'm binge watching now. Yeah.
If you could go back on any classic TV show and be cast in it,
Carol Burnett Show.
you'd just like to be one of those players.
That would be.
Like right in between Tim Conway and Harvey Korman.
And I would be worse than Harvey Korman when it comes to breaking. He would have me at everything he does, because Tim Conway, man, is just one of the funniest men. And I would love to, oh man, I could, and I always love watching the outtakes, because they have all these outtakes. And anytime, I don't know why more of that's not done, because just that moment when granted, you obviously can't do that in drama because it takes you out. But in a comedy, to watch someone break on camera is so funny to me, and it's so real, and just like, and also the tension of trying to hold it in and then you can't hold it in, man. There needs to be more of that, I think.
What would we see in Veep outtakes?
They don't release them for some reason.
What would we see if we
just
did?
Me breaking all the time?
Yeah.
Literally.
So you're a breaker.
Yeah. Very unprofessional.
And what gets you the most?
Julia just constantly makes me laugh, and and the writing makes me laugh. Like what they give us to write, what they give us to say, and then hearing somebody else say it, I just think it's so funny. And I've said this before, but Julia sang to me once, because I was breaking on in a scene on camera, and she turned to me and she says, "Tony, you know you're not watching the show, you're in the show."
Right.
And I was like, but it's a funny show.
Yeah.
Let's give it that.
One.
It's a good one.
Gets Emmy nominations year after year.
I mean, but I don't know, it makes me laugh really hard.
Yeah.
But like a variety show where you see people, because you see it on SNL sometimes, but they really try hard not to. I think they get in trouble if they break, so that's why they don't break much. But there needs to be a variety show where you see people breaking, because that was the joy of Carol Burnett show, in my opinion.
Yeah. I remember watching, it seems like you would have the outtakes from Seinfeld and some special episodes, and I guess Michael Richards would get very upset if somebody broke.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
like,
Don't break.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But I watch that stuff on YouTube, and you know who has the best outtake reel is Bridesmaids. There's a great blooper reel of Bridesmaids that I have watched so many times, because Melissa McCarthy would just make people break over and over, and man, it's a joy to watch.
Yeah.
So good.
Last question. Do you remember your first acting job, professional?
Yeah. My first acting, when I got paid, was I was studying some acting in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and it was for the Virginia Pilot Ledger newspaper, and it was a commercial. And I remember I'm sitting on a bench acting quirky and dumb, and it was just like a local commercial, and I got paid for it, and I just could not believe it.
For the newspaper?
For the commercial for the newspaper.
And you're just sitting on a bench.
I was sitting on a bench doing something, I can't remember it, but that was my very first gig, and I was 24, and I was just like, I got paid for this, because I've mainly doing local theater and stuff, not getting paid, and that was very exciting.
Did you learn anything from this job that you took with you professionally?
Virginia, for that one?
Yeah.
Probably just shut my mouth, because I think I probably just couldn't stop talking, and I was just like, isn't this great? And like people behind the camera were just like, can we just get going? And then I think my next gig was I was playing the nutty professor at a water museum, and I would come out and do experiments for the kids and wear a crazy wig and be like, hey kids, da da da, and I was paid for that, and I was very excited.
Nice. Lab coat and everything.
Lab coat and everything, colored water to make it look like experiments.
Good.
But I do remember it was a theme park. It was a water museum, but people thought it was a water park, and they'd always come in bathing suits and be very disappointed. So I don't think they wanted to see me. So I was like, hey, I got some experiments. And they're like, where's the water slide? And I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Got nothing for you.
It's like
but there's some sharks to pet over there if you want.
I'm not the Blue's Clues guy. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of disappointment.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Once again for
so
coming
fun.
in. It's been great.
I'm expecting a
to you
whole new
always.
color palette next time I come.
We'll work on that. Yeah. And for more of these conversations, please go to latimes.com. Thanks for watching.
Bye.